Well, welcome back to our final build episode. Episode 4 here on UK Theme Parks of our Christmas Wonderland, our Santaland, which we are building to celebrate, obviously, Christmas, which is just around the corner. It is Christmas Eve today when you watch this. Our final episode will be up on Christmas Day tomorrow, which will be a walk through of the park, and obviously the park will be available for you to view at any time. Now then, this episode we are going to be looking to build our second roller coaster. Now our first roller coaster, although was a hyper style coaster, you might think was a thrill ride, is not going to be a thrill ride as you saw. This one is going to be a little bit more of a thrill machine. So we are using the Gerstlauer style Eurofighter, and we're going to do some tight turns and some dips and some inversions, and we intend to really enclose this again, making the most of the terrain tool to get this to look like an ice cave, which is what the ride will be called. Now, the only good thing about this ride is, although it does feel really quite rough if you don't build this one properly, it's probably one of the most unforgiving coasters in the game. It can do some wonderful things in quite a small footprint, and in that footprint you can invert, you can twist the track very, very sharply, you can have hairpin turns if you wish to, as well as the vertical drop, beyond vertical drop. You can really space this out and get it running, as you can see here, pretty smoothly with as many trains as you want, as long as you put the block brakes in the right place. So we'll give this a quick run through, and then we're going to actually start enclosing this. Now it is sitting behind the building. As we said before, we didn't actually finish the back of the building, so we will finish the back of the building in this as well, but using the terrain tool is going to be our absolute key in this. Now we've said before, the terrain tool is just fantastic. The way it works is magnificent. It really is. The way you can enclose things and not waste scenery items, and really hammer your park frame rate. And particularly as well as you're on console, you are really limited how many pieces you can put in. So making the most of the terrain tool is absolute key. It really is absolute key, and you can do wonderful things with it. Then painting the side, and it looks really good at the end. Now the back of the building here, we're actually going to finish quite subtly without too much detail, to be honest with you. We're just going to fill it in, go around the back, change the roof very slightly, and yeah, that will be kind of the end of it. And as you can see here, we're also going to put a building around the roller coaster with a wooden floor. Rather than leaving it open, we're also going to do a wooden floor, and then we turn the collision back off on the terrain tool, and we're going to have it kind of, snow coming into the building right the way up to the track, as well as popping some lights up as well. Now then, the roof we're going to keep fairly simple on this. We're going to use the corrugated roof again, much like we used on the other coaster. Reason for this is I believe the snow sits slightly better on it. It's also got a very slightly higher gradient, so it stands out a lot more from the Victorian roof when we go across on this. And you can start with the really steep one, as you saw there, and then go to the slightly smaller gradient to give it a different kind of roof. It's more like a barn effect, to be honest, which I'm quite happy with for this style coaster. We'll get the festive theming up, and we'll stick some snow across the top. It just looks really nice. The way it blends in looks really nice. And what you'll see as well in later episodes when we actually go on the ride is where it sort of blends in nicely on the outside, it also leaks very slightly onto the inside. And although it might be slightly unrealistic the way that's done, it actually looks really good. Now once again, we are going to put some lights around this. We're going to stick with the white lights around it. It will just give it a little bit of a highlight without taking away from the actual attraction itself. And of course the snowmen. The snowmen. I'm loving these snowmen. I love what you can do with these snowmen. I love the way you can make them look. We've got to have a couple of snowmen there. Now what we're going to do here is we are actually going to build a proper entrance again, or try and build a proper entrance again. Have a few Christmas decorations on there, as well as a large sign. This one we will have flashing lights on, coloured lights, and the reason being is we want to, attract attention to the ride, to the entrance. That's why we're going to have You know, rather than static lights, we're going to have main lights on it, and that's a very, very simple, very simple entrance, but quite effective. Now we do need to put some trees around here as well, so we can close the ride a little bit more. Whether you're going through the ice caves, it's kind of an ice mountain, ice cave sort of look, and really put it aside. Now then, moving on from that, that is that ride pretty much done, to be honest with you. We're going to build a little skate rink. Now, of course, you can't have people skating on this game. You know, it is really just for pure decoration. However, that said, we can make it look fairly good. We're going to put some spotlights on here. We'll have a little bit of a building at the back. And, you know, it's going to detract from the fact that we've got another ride to build, another couple of rides to build here. Next to the carousel, which we're going to push over, we are going to put a rocker plane ride, another classic fairground thrill ride. And then, of course, we are actually also, you'll see when we start building the entrance, we are going to build a Skyride, a ski lift, which is going to go from the front to the back of the park, which will land behind this ice rink. Now we want to get the fences just right on here, and it does take a little bit of a while to get the fences, you know, really lined up and perfect. And of course we can take our time in doing this. There's no rush. We want to make it look as good as we can, especially as this isn't, you know, this is a scenery piece rather than a in-use piece, if you will. You know, we can't. I'm not even going to put any people on here. It's just going to be an ice rink style design and look. As I said, we're going to put some lights on a little back building as well, where you would kind of get ready, and then the rides, and we're going to have some shops surrounding it. Will kind of take away, you know, from the emptiness of the ice rink. It's a bit of a shame actually that we don't have, you know, things like that. We can pop in, and maybe even some ice skaters would have been lovely to go with the festive pack. However, we don't have those, and I don't think they're going to be updating the game any soon to get them, very sadly, but we can certainly get the buildings to look good and get a nice wooden base down, much like we did on the roller coaster. So yeah, very simple on this. We'll pop a roof on it now, two-tone roof facing each way, and we will finish this one off and then look to do another part of the park. In fact, I think we need to move on to the entrance. After this, we are definitely going to move on to the entrance of the park, because we need to get the ski lift built, and we need to get the ski lift down this area so we can also finish this area off. Now, although it's not a very big park, you know, a ski lift isn't just transport. It obviously is transport, but it isn't just transport. It will also, you know, give some wonderful views of the park as you go over. You'll be able to look to the right of it, and you'll be able to see everything. You'll be able to see all the, you know, all the rides, all the coasters, the buildings, the snow on top of the buildings, and even on the left you'll see the other roller coaster as well. So it's really important, not just for sort of, you know, style and design, if you will, for someone to get to the front, to the back of the park. It's just the overall look of it. And of course, when we look at the front of the park here, I have left it quite open, and I do say at the beginning of every single season, I do say, yep, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the entrance first and then build the park around the entrance, and lo and behold, what happens is I don't do that. So we're back to square one. Someone remind me next time the next season starts and I haven't done it, someone remind me to go back and build the entrance straight away. Then we're going to have a slightly offset entrance, as we said many times in this already, where we haven't built the park completely flush with the way the buildings go down. We do have to make a few adjustments, but we're going to have a very plain looking building, to be honest with you. A few lights on it, again a roof. We'll have a flat roof over the back, and a little alleyway you walk up. In the little alleyway you see there, we'll have the entrance to the chairlift on the left, and we'll just have some decoration, going over the top. We're going to use the lights, we're going to use the kind of the forestry bits. Keep it very simple until you get into the park, because you'll see the gingerbread house at the end, and as soon as you get in and turn right, you'll see the village, you'll see the break dance. As soon as you turn left, you're going to see the Sizzler. So get a roof on, get a nice big sign on the front as Santa Land, you know, really starts to come together. Now then, keeping with the festive theme, we're going to have some Christmas trees outside. We're also going to use the baubles as well. We've used them, the baubles in various places around the park, but actually not on any of the trees yet. So we're going to use them on the trees. This will be your welcoming. The trees are obviously got lights on already, so we don't have to worry too much about those. And we'll pop a little star on the top And bear in mind these are tree topper stars, they don't fit particularly well on top. So we're just going to plonk them on top. I can't lie to you, we're just going to plonk them on top. And then we're going to use the big sign to go over the entrance to say that we are at Santa Land. Now we're going to use some of the lights on the roof this time, just to give it sort of a brightness as you're walking up. It'll be a real, a real eye catcher that you've got so many lights on it and the lights are coming down from the roof. We could have used a few more, but we don't want to oversaturate it, to be honest, and take away from the decoration which we are putting on the front. But we are definitely going to pop some lights on there that people can see when they're walking up to the attraction. Then we'll pop a few snowmen out the front, a couple of presents, change the lighting and everything, and yeah, here we are. We have Santa Land. With the entrance done now, we need to start and think about getting this Skyride in. Now, I did misjudge, as you can see there, just how big these Skyrides are. I can't lie to you, I misjudged it completely. We're going to have to flatten some of the terrain as well to get some of the terrain flat, and it's going to be a bit of a pain to line this up. I want to line this up perfectly to go down that alleyway. It should fit. It should fit. Believe it or not, it was pre-planned that it would fit to go down there perfectly. Now, I'm not going to be able to line it up straight away. We'll get it in place and then we'll put the kind of cables all the way down, and then we'll move it over very, very slightly so we can make it fit. And of course, then that will head down to the bottom half of the park, and it will just drop you off by the skate rink. That's the whole idea, drop you off by the skate rink. We'll get the thing testing, as you can see now, and we're going to have to move some of the rides around it because the beams went straight through the carousel, and you actually can't turn the beams off on this one. You must have the supports, unlike the roller coasters. So yeah, we've had to move it over very, very slightly and make sure that we can obviously get the entrance and exit on the right side. It can be a bit of a pain sometimes judging which one's which, but we'll get the exit on the entrance on the right side. Again, we need to do a little bit of terrain tooling to make sure that we can kind of get offload at the back and get loaded at the front. Certainly getting it in the right the right way round really does increase the throughput, and makes it a lot easier as well for people to queue for the attraction. Then with that done, we can start building around the ride. So again, keeping it exactly in theme as what we had, completely wooden as we go over the top. This is also going to have a flat roof on it. We'll use a few little fences on the inside, just on one side though. We're not going to use too much of it, to be perfectly honest with you. And this wonderful, this little bush and tree took me so long to put together. It really did take a stupid amount of time to put together, and I've had to remove it. Now we're going to need quite a long queue because this is the first ride people are going to come to, so we do need quite a long queue for this one. But yeah, it's working alright, it's got plenty of cars on, it's on a continuous motion, it should be alright. Let's get a roof now on this bad boy. It will generally be a flat roof once we've done this, so we'll have the raised roof around this part just over the kind of the entrance area before it goes. You can see where it's staggered slightly and the building's slightly bigger. It works really well to then have a flat roof over the other piece. And you won't really see this other piece, to be honest, from the main part of the park. You'll only really see it when you're on the ride or coming off of the attraction. And then of course we need to theme this area here. First thing we'll do with this is pop in the the reef style bushes with the lights in all the way down both sides, as you can see here. Should work really, really well, should brighten it up really quite nicely and give it some real subtle lighting. We obviously do need the sign for the skyways, which is our chair swing, and then we're going to use the gingerbread to make sure we can have some lights and also some dangling displays as well coming from the entrance area here. And what you'll see with these in place, we will be able to then hang things off of these. So we'll hang the lights off of these, we'll put a light on each and every one, and we'll do it both sides, and then we'll hang a reef style decoration. So that's what you'll walk into, that's what you'll walk in and out of the park for, that style decoration. And they hang really well, to be fair, they are kind of made for hanging. Whilst we are on wood here, we are going to use the icing. I love the icing. The icing windows, the icing bricks, I think work really, really well. And again, pop some more lights on the back. It just brings it together so nicely. I really do love the way it does it. With a fencing and some scenery down here to just brighten it up a bit. And of course, just a little bit of snow on the roof. I actually don't want too much snow on the top of the flat building. We're going to put some candy canes in. We're just going to, you know, Christmas it up. It will be a lovely entrance to the park with some real subtle lighting. Before we head back up the top end of the park to theme the other end of the chairlift, and indeed finish off the park down the other end. However simple it looks, I'm really happy with the way the entrance area looks. And this top end of the park here now is the only unfinished bit. Now the first thing we are going to do is pop some lights in. They don't sit very well, so we are going to have to move them down. And again, we're going to keep them relatively simple. We're just going to have white lights beaming onto the skate rink from the beams we put up. That was the idea of putting these up, is that we could pop some lights on them. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And we'll also have some coming off the main building as well. As we said, this is a completely unused area, to be honest with you. It's completely purely for decoration. You know, we can't do much about that. We can't do much about that. But I think it's important to have one in the park. We're going to put some more scenery around the front end here. So that will be enclosed by some trees, a Christmas tree, some more presents, and it will be really, really nicely gifted up. Also, the rides as well next to it, we're going to put some shops. We're going to use some pre-built shops, some more gingerbread ones to pre-build in here. They're going to fit in here really, really nicely. But you know, having these two rides next to each other work, you know, complement each other really, really well. We got a nice thrill ride in the rocker plane right next to a carousel, which is, you know, a staple, arguably a staple of any sort of theme park, certainly a winter themed theme park. You would expect to find a carousel there. You can see now that the shops have gone in, the shops are going in, we'll have a toilet as well, and of course we'll get the rest of the theme park put together at the top here with some scenery, and then we are going to need to enclose the chairlift. Now we're not actually going to have a roof on the chairlift side this side, because we've got the open air skate in area. We don't feel the need to have, I don't feel the need to have a roof over this. This is going to be sort of an open air, out you come, you know, spend it outside. Beautiful clear skies. We're going to have, you know, the stars coming down, the moon shining. We don't think we need, I don't think we need a roof over this like we do the entrance part, which is a little bit more enclosed as it's hiding the mystery of the theme park. Not so much needed on this one, so we're just going to have a border around it. We'll size it up quite nicely as well, and then we'll just get the paths in, to be honest with you, and some trees. What do you think of our festive park? This is the end of our build. I'm really, really, really pleased with this, to be honest with you. It's come together really nicely. We've got some nice buildings, we've got some nice rides, we've got some highlight coasters, as well as some cracking thrill rides. Tomorrow you will see the final episode, which will be a walk around the park. And of course you'll get to go on some of the rides, including the dark ride and the roller coaster. But let us know in the comments below, what do you think of this build? It's a wonderful 4-episode build, final episode tomorrow. Leave your comments. I hope you're looking forward to it. We'll see you then.